I'm not even going to try to tee anything up. All I'm going to tell you is to lock in, buckle up, because we've got a loaded show today on the Packers Report. 4 different news items that if you call yourself a diehard Packers fan, you will need to see going throughout the rest of your week. Also, if you call yourself a diehard Packers fan, make sure to hit that subscribe button because we're on the road to 5,000 subscribers. It'll be our biggest milestone since we crossed the 1,000 mark, and I need every single one of you guys to help me out to get there, okay? We cover the Packers daily right here on the Packers Report, a video every single day from now, tomorrow, and the rest of eternity. So lock us in right now. Hit that subscribe button. I need at least 250 diehard cheeseheads to do that for me and join us today. Let's start with the first news item of today's episode. Happened later yesterday. Jayden Reed had a conversation with Brian Gutekunst, or Jayden Reed's agent had a conversation with Brian Gutekunst. Adam Schefter was the one that broke the news, saying Packers general manager Brian Gutekunst met last week with Jayden Reed's agent, Drew Rosenhaus, to clarify the wide receiver status in Green Bay after the team drafted Matthew Golden and Savion Williams. The team said it will not affect Reed's status as its top receiver per source. My first thought on this is to tell everybody to breathe. Don't overreact, okay? This is, I believe, fairly normal. And my second thought is this is probably something I would do. This is probably something you would do as well. If you believe that you're your team's number one guy, you're your job's number one guy, and they go out and hire 2 other people that do your exact same job, would you not have a conversation with your boss? Just say, hey, want to make sure everything's cool. Because they did go wide receiver early and often. First round, Matthew Golden. Third round, Savion Williams. They added those 2 guys. So if you're Jayden Reed, a guy who caught for 857 yards last year, almost 1,000, 6 touchdowns, and 800 yards the year prior, your rookie season on 64 catches, you put together back-to-back really solid seasons with a ton of receptions, playing a ton of games, and being a really good asset to this team. If you've done that in back-to-back seasons and they go draft 2 wide receivers, regardless of how good you might feel that Matthew Golden is going to be, and I feel like he's going to be very, very good, I think that warrants a conversation. And honestly, if you think about the tweet, and if you look at the tweet, it kind of seems almost in a sense that Brian Gutekunst may have been the one to reach out to Drew Rosenhaus, right? It starts off by saying Packers general manager Brian Gutekunst met last week with Drew Rosenhaus. Not Drew Rosenhaus met last week with Brian Gutekunst. So I think this is anything to get worked up about. This is not anything to get worried about. I think everything is going to just be all right, and Jayden Reed might have just needed a little bit of reassurance. I need you to be honest with me now, okay? Are you worried about Jayden Reed? Are you worried about this conversation? If you are, give me a yes in the comment section down below, and if you're not, let me know by saying no. Let's get to a guy we talked a ton about. Some assistant coaches spoke about Jaire Alexander. Jeff Hafley is the main one because obviously they're not going to ask Stenavich about a defensive player. And they asked Jeff Hafley on what having Jaire Alexander back would mean if something is worked out between him and the Green Bay Packers. He's quoted as saying, I think we'll leave that up to see what happens rather than talk in any hypotheticals. Kind of just shut it down automatically. And this seems a little bit like a step back from the latest news that we got last week. We got an update from Schrager. We got an update from a ton of different guys. Here's what Peter Schrager had to say, followed with Jeremy Fowler's quote. It appears more likely that Alexander will remain with the Packers. Alexander has had great talks with head coach Matt LaFleur and Brian Gutekunst. He also has a great relationship with defensive coordinator Jeff Hafley. Jeremy Fowler spoke and said the Packers and Alexander are working on a resolution that should materialize soon. A revised contract for Alexander, due $17.5 million in cash this year, to balance his injury history with his longtime status as an elite corner might be the most sensible play. Honestly, this seems to change day to day because last week we did videos on both of those quotes, both of those reports, both of those announcements. And it seemed at the time that okay, something could be happening very soon. It felt like it was in a very positive trajectory to having Jaire Alexander back in Green Bay for this season. And then Jeff Hafley, I don't want to say it seemed negative, but it kind of seemed like it was just an immediate shut it down. I know he's a defensive coordinator. That's kind of how those guys tend to roll. They don't really deal in the hypotheticals. They don't deal in the drama. They don't deal in the offseason contract holdouts or whatever is happening around a team. But still, it seemed a little bit harsher than I was anticipating. Let's just say that. Make sure you guys join us today, okay, right here on the Packers Report. If you've been a fan longer than a decade, if you've been a fan of this team longer than 10 years, then there is no reason whatsoever to not hit that subscribe button and not join us right here at the channel. So lock us in today if you've been a cheesehead for more than 10 years. Let's go to item number 3. Elgton Jenkins wants to get paid. Feels like he deserves to get paid. The Packers Wire tweeted this out and saying Elgton Jenkins wants to rework his contract ahead of position change to center. He also hasn't been at Packers workouts. Sinovich was asked about this yesterday, and he said that it's not because of the change to center, that it's because of something different. And that's when everybody kind of realized it's probably because he wants to make a little bit more cheddar. If you look at the offensive line as of right now, Jenkins is taking a massive jump for this team, moving from that guard spot to center as Aaron Banks was added in free agency. This is going to be something totally new for him. This is going to be something that, you know what, he was pretty good on the interior last year. Now they're asking him to play somewhere different, and they're paying a guy in Aaron Banks a lot more money than they're paying him. So for that reason, I kind of get it. I kind of understand it. It makes a little bit of sense to me. He's saying, okay, you want me to take this massive jump, to make this massive change. Pay me for it, right? Where's the money? Show me the money, Jerry. He feels like he deserves some compensation for doing something that's going to help the team out a ton. They let Josh Myers walk. He's not with this team anymore. There's a hole at center. Elgton Jenkins is the one they are relying on to fill that hole, and he believes, hey, maybe not a massive pay increase. Let's just rework the deal. Because going into next year, he's got a massive cap number, and he knows that he's a guy that might be a cap casualty with given the depth and the interior of the offensive line and just the offensive line as a whole. Right now, he's got 2 years left on the deal, total of $42.5 million. The average of that, 21.2, and he has zero guaranteed money left. None over the next 2 seasons. So if you're Elgton Jenkins and you're making a massive sacrifice moving positions as they brought in somebody who they're paying more than you, it kind of would make sense to want a little bit of a rework deal, some more security to be here for the long term, to not have to go and face free agency, possibly a year earlier if he's somebody that might be a cap casualty next offseason. I want you guys to be Brian Gutekunst, though. How much should Jenkins get paid? If you rework the deal, how many years and what's the salary? You guys let me know in the comment section right now. The final news item, we got a few scheduled leaks. As you guys to know that tomorrow is the schedule release day. But over the past couple of days, they've been, leaking out some information, some games from here or there. Because if there's one thing that the NFL knows how to do, they know how to stay relevant when it's the offseason. They got the Super Bowl in February. March is the beginning of NFL free agency. Then they got the draft in April. They got the schedule release in May. They dominate the calendar, and they know it, and they do it very, very well. So a few days ago, actually it was yesterday, we got the leak of Packers versus Bears. Saturday, December 20th, so the Saturday before Christmas, which means maybe watch out for a possible Christmas Day game for Green Bay. And then they also released this today, Eagles versus Packers, Monday night, November 10th. It'll be a rematch of the game that Green Bay lost not just once, but twice in the year of 2025. Year of 2024. It's going to be a really exciting season. I cannot wait for the entirety of the schedule to be released. Now remember, the team or the division that Green Bay and the NFC North is playing next year is the NFC East. A team with the Commanders, a team with the Eagles, and a team with a new look Cowboys offense with George Pickens and Dak Prescott back healthy. So it's going to be a tough schedule. Now Green Bay does get the benefit of playing a third place schedule, but still, regardless, it's not going to be easy opponents on that list. We're about to get out of here, but make sure you guys follow me on socials. You can find me on Twitter. You can find me on Instagram, both of those at Joey Petersen 8. And if you already follow me there and you're not subscribed, make sure you do it today. Hit that sub button, locking us in for the rest of, your entire life, because we're all cheeseheads. We all want the Green Bay Packers to have success, and that's what we cover every single day right here on the Packers Report.